I'm back. It's me again, Alexis Lambert, and I I knew I was going to come back on this evening and make another video. I actually thought it was going to be about food this time because I've been working on the food for the prayer event this weekend. And while I was doing that, the Lord spoke, and and the Lord told me there are people asking if you're going to quit your job. People are wondering if you are going to stop doing your job. And if anybody is unaware, I do have a normal everyday day job. I am a financial advisor. So when you hear people uh, on YouTube or on socials saying I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not licensed to give financial advice. I actually am licensed to give financial advice. I do not give specific financial advice on YouTube or on any social platform because I'm not speaking to a specific person in a specific situation or scenario. I only do that one on one with someone. But um, but the answer to that question is, even though I've been called into the mission field, into evangelism, God has not told me to quit my job. And to be quite honest, I have asked. Um, so I'm actually gonna share just a piece, a little piece of that story of my testimony um, with you, and I am going to keep it short. I promise. God actually called me. Um, uh, it, the process of God calling me into ministry has been um, a process over the past um, um, probably going on 20 years. Uh, one of the steps in that process was in 2014 or 2015. I think it was 2015. God actually uh, God made it very clear that He was calling me into ministry, and we got into an argument. And when I say we got into an argument, I got into an argument because God doesn't argue. And and I said, no, I don't want to do this. I'm already doing what you called me to do because I was a financial advisor, which only came about because of God. And and I told him no. And I said, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing ministry. And I was like a little child with my arms crossed and with my and it was like I was holding my breath. And I'm not gonna move, and I'm not gonna budge like a little toddler who has stomped their foot and or put their foot down and to their parent. And God is very patient, and uh and like I said, didn't argue back, but He did say, that's fine, you can hold your breath as long as you want, but eventually you're going to let it out. You're going to have to breathe, and we are going to talk about this. Um, because I had said, no, I'm not going to do it. We're not going to talk about this. I'm not going to talk about this. And so He waited, and I did not talk to God. I actually ignored God for about a month, and the conviction grew and grew and grew until finally I found myself on my hands and knees, bent over in prayer, in a sobbing, snotty, teary mess, crying out to God and saying, I'll do whatever you want me to do. Because whatever I knew, because I knew, and I was telling God, I know whatever you have planned for me is going to be better than whatever I could pointedly pick out for myself. Um, and I said, I don't, it does not matter. I don't know what you want me to do, and I'm scared. I don't know if you want me to dig wells in Ghana, or if you want me to build an orphanage in China, or if you want me to quit my job. Uh, but whatever it is, I'll do what you want me to do. And I heard the Spirit of God speak to my heart very clearly. And I heard, I just needed to deal with your heart for now. Learn and grow until I call you out. And I felt a ton of relief because because he wasn't telling me to quit my job. Um, and the reason I didn't want to do ministry, because in my brain I thought ministry was going up on stage behind a pulpit and preaching, and I did not want to do that. Um, now I just want to tell everybody about Jesus, but um, but fast forward now, and God has brought me deeper and deeper and deeper into this calling, and I've grown deeper and deeper and deeper into the financial world at the same time. And now I find it very interesting that over the past 6 months, uh, I have begged God to take me out of the financial world and into full-time ministry. Um, and the reason is the financial industry is 100% corrupt. It's so corrupt. It's evil. There are very, very few people who do what I do who are not lying to you, and who are not misled themselves, even if they are good, honest people. They don't know that they are giving corrupt advice, because honestly, it's just the way we're trained. It's just the way we're trained. And if we don't have Holy Spirit discernment to see through it, with spiritual eyes, then the advisor that a lot of people have don't even know that they're giving ungodly wisdom to their clients. And it's a very, very sad state. And I begged God to take me out of this industry. And I think God got weary of hearing me beg to leave this industry. And he brought to my attention one day, didn't you promise me, and I quote, and this is exactly how I heard this, I promise, didn't you promise, and I quote, that whether it was digging wells in Ghana, whether it was building an orphanage in China, or whether it was leaving your job, you would do whatever I wanted you to do, because whatever I had planned for you was going to be better than whatever you could choose for yourself. And when I heard that, I said, oh, right. Because I knew in that moment that meant, that included staying where he had me. And I said, I'm sorry. You're right. There's a reason you have me here. And so I'll do what you want me to do. So that was a long answer. I am going to keep this video under 10 minutes. Thank you for listening. I am not quitting my job. God will enable me to do both ministry, evangelism, and still be an ethical financial advisor. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.